This reorganization work session, regular remote meeting of the Township Council is called to order. Madam Clerk? You're muted. Anne Marie, we can't hear you.
In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this reorganization work session regular remote meeting of the Franklin Township Council was made by the posting on the front doors of the municipal building, posted on the township's website, and electronically transmitted to the officially designated newspapers, indicating that this reorganization work session regular remote meeting would take place via WebEx at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, January 5th, 2021.
I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Councilwoman Pruitt, could you lead us in the invocation?
Probably need to unmute myself. Let us take the next few moments of silence to each seek in our own way whatever source of inspiration will grant us the strength and power in our thoughts and decisions to be for the benefit of all people at all times. Amen.
Amen. Madam Master Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Larson,
Here.
Councilman Chase, Councilwoman Fenton,
Here.
Galtieri,
Here.
Mayor Kramer,
Here.
Councilman Onijaka,
Here.
Councilwoman Pruitt,
Here.
Councilman Vasanella,
Here.
Councilman Wright.
Councilman Wright is not here. He's not able to attend. We're on to item number 5, commendations and proclamations. There are none. Item number 6, public discussion. We have a motion to open to the public.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of opening to the public, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. We're going to open to the public. 2 minutes to speak. No yielding of time. May only come up once. Mr. Queen, if you could facilitate this.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Anybody from the public wishing to speak, we ask that you use the chat function and raise hand feature to indicate that you would like to speak. If you were on the phone, hit *3 to raise your hand. When you're done speaking, we ask that you hit *3 again to lower your hand. Mr. Mayor, I have one individual on the phone, or two right now. I'm going to first call on. Okay, caller, you are unmuted. You're 732-644. Go ahead.
Yes, how are you doing? How are you doing tonight, Council?
Great. State your name and address, please.
Sure. I'm Mike Mingileos, and my address is 264 John Street. I'm coming to you tonight to talk about a few things. I'm not exactly sure what you guys, where your stance is on medical cannabis. I believe you've had discussions in the past on the topic. And I'd just like to say that I'm a medical marijuana patient. I'm not part of any organization or company. I represent only myself. I'm an advocate who shared my story of using medical marijuana to get off of and stay off of heroin and methadone for nearly 3 years. And I take what I do very serious and my journey very serious. My message is not only shared in hopes of helping others who may be sharing similar addiction struggles, but I share it in order to be a resource for those who may not know opiate use disorder is a qualifying condition to enroll in the medical marijuana program. Through sharing my recovery journey, it has been extremely therapeutic for me as well. I've shared my story to almost 30 towns in person over the last 2.5 years to tell my success story to councils. I just would like to know where you guys stand on that. I struggled many years with drug addiction, and I was able to save my life and use cannabis to assist me in doing so. There's many people like me. There's 100,000 people in the program, and there's many people like me that get benefits from using cannabis medically. So that's all I'd like to say tonight. And also want to add that 8 people a day are dying in New Jersey of overdose. The health department released that information. So this is why this is very serious for me. You know, I've been down that road. I've overdosed before. I was able to save my life. Luckily, the drug addiction didn't take my life from me. So this is why this is very important for me, and I take it very serious. And I hope you guys do too. So I appreciate you guys letting me talk tonight, and hopefully you guys can possibly take a positive stance on medical marijuana.
So very early on, this council has passed a resolution indicating we are in favor of medical marijuana and various stages of adult use marijuana. I'll speak for myself. I'm in favor of it. Any other council member want to address? Okay, but I think you will be pleased with our stance on it. Mr. McQueen, Mr. Bowman has sent me a text saying it's impossible to sign in without impossible to sign on with WebEx.
All right, we have right now 13 different people in the meeting, so the link is working. If he goes to the website and clicks on the calendar and the link to join, if not, if you want to send me his number, I will contact him. The last caller, if you could hit *3 to lower your hand. Mr. Mayor, we have another caller. This 732-247, you are now unmuted. 732-247, you are unmuted.
Yes, my name is Carol Peterson. I live on Lake Avenue in Somerset. I'm calling because I want you to ban the burn. And the reason is I bought the air quality monitor that I asked the township to consider buying several years ago. I'm tired of being awakened morning, noon, night, 3 a.m., 12 p.m., 6 a.m. My air monitor at 5 o'clock tonight, with me doing nothing in the house, was reading high levels, 0.662 mgm3 of formaldehyde, 4,465 mgm3s of toxic volatile organic chemicals, and a CO2 level of 1156 ppms. And my monitor was screaming severe pollution. This is inside my house because I have a neighbor 15 feet from the property and about 30 feet from an air vent into the house, and a second one that sits in a little further, sucking in the furniture he's burning for heat. I think it needs to stop. You told him, and somebody sent him wood from the township several years ago. That was 14 Lake. I also have ongoing a commercial residents at 13 Hill that think they're God's gift to making food for restaurants in their home. And not only can you smell it, because this week's entrees are sweet and sour, but at night they cook a lot, and weekends they cook a lot when they think nobody can see and smell, I guess, with the side doors open and fans running. So this year, make a good year, New Year's resolution to clean up the air in Franklin. It's not enough now. We have to put up with this. The noise is still going from 7-Eleven. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. McQueen, I emailed you Mr. Bowman's number, and Mr. Danielson is texting me indicating he's having difficulty getting in. The website isn't accepting my email address.
Okay, I'm going to call Mr. Bowen in 1 second. We have one other caller that is wishing to speak. This is going to be 732-979. 732-979, you are now unmuted.
Okay. Hi, my name's Aubrey Conway. My address is 2301 Timber Ridge Court. I'm on tonight because I've been a patient advocate in the medical marijuana field for 7 years on one of the original medical dispensaries in New Jersey on their board. I'm only speaking about medical marijuana. I have no business with legalization or recreational marijuana. I mainly have worked with terminal patients, children, and sadly, sometimes they are one and the same terminal children. So as I refer to patients, these are the types of cases I'm referring
Just
to.
trying to double
I couldn't.
here, so give me 1 second because we're on public comment.
What?
Mr. McQueen, go ahead, ma'am. Mr. McQueen, you're not muted. Go ahead.
He is now.
Sorry for the interruption. Sorry for the interruption.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear what you said after the other gentleman spoke, so I'm not sure. I'm not reiterating anything that was previously said, but I have, as far as qualifications, I've advocated for change in law that has taken place with the J. Koenig Compassionate Use Act and things like that. I've spoken all over the state as well as in other states throughout the country, mainly regarding the need for increased access for patients by way of more dispensaries, as well as how to speak to children about medical marijuana. I hosted a press conference with the governor a couple years ago, which expanded the program, and it included more qualifying conditions. One of those conditions, coincidentally, are what the gentleman earlier said, was opiate use disorder. I've consulted for doctors, medical practices, lawyers, and townships. I know last year there was an assembly there that addressed how parents, educators, and the community can handle marijuana entering the commercial space in this country, state by state. I was alarmed to hear some of the statistics that were shared, and there was no sources cited. I'd like to quickly note that as of August 2020, the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, stated youth marijuana has not increased over the past decade, even as more states across the country have passed progressive marijuana laws. So I just wanted to provide you with factual information from a credible source instead of the propaganda that I feel was previously shared. But again, though, I'm not here in the interest of legalization. I'm in the interest of Franklin Township considering allowing medical marijuana facilities to increase the access in New Jersey. The CDC had also shared 81,000 opiate-related deaths since March of 2020, when the pandemic began. So we see the increase going on, and the CDC also said we need to highlight essential services and make sure they remain accessible for people most at risk of overdose. So I come before you not only as a professional, but I also come to you as a person who had their entire life shattered to pieces in March when the opiate epidemic actually took one of my friend's lives. So in the past, when I speak and I consult for townships, I just provide facts. I'm a resource, and I consult on why patients need more access. But now it's become very personal in my work and for patients that I represent that may be battling opiate addiction. And in honor of my friend's life, that was so needlessly lost that I mentioned that, as you can see, both sides. That man made it alive with the help of medical marijuana, and my friend did not.
Excuse me, ma'am. We have a 2-minute limit, and I'm getting signal that we've been about 3 minutes. Council has expressed that they are in favor of medical marijuana as well as adult use. So we share your concerns.
Okay, so that's great. Yeah, I wasn't able to hear you earlier. Thank you so much, though. That's so great to hear.
You're welcome.
And you're definitely saving lives by increasing access.
Thank you. Any other council members want to comment on that? Okay. Mr. McQueen?
Mr. Mayor, I believe he's attempting to try to help the assemblyman get on.
Anybody wishing to speak from the public, please hit *3 or use the chat function to let me know that you would like to speak. The last caller, if you could hit *3 to lower your hand, that would be helpful. Okay, Mr. Mayor, at this time, I do not see anybody else wishing to speak from the public.
You're doing double duty there, Mr. McQueen. I appreciate it. So Mr. McQueen has indicated there's no one else wishing to speak.
Mr. Mayor, seeing no one else from the public then raising their hand or wishing to speak, motion to close the public session.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor of closing public session, say aye.
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 Mr. Danielson is expressing his regrets because he can't get on to me. If you can figure that out, Mr. McQueen, that'd be great. If you can't, that's okay. We appreciate the assemblyman going to get on. Jonathan White just said
Mr.
his
Mayor,
hand.
I'm going to reach out to him, but I've just updated it. He should be able to get in with that link now.
Okay, Jonathan White just sent a chat that his hand was up, and I did at one point see his hand was up. I'm sorry for the confusion here, Council. Do we have a motion to reopen for Mr. White? He did have his hand up at one time.
So moved.
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved in second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. If we could get Mr. White on.
Mr. White, you are now unmuted.
Great.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council persons, and township manager. I'm calling about the recent report regarding the excessive retirement and salary for one of the Franklin Township officers that just retired in October, taking home in excess of $400,000 for the 2020 year, and how a portion of that money is reported to have come from the union time loophole that was reported to be a problem in the township in 2019. And I'm wondering what work the council and the mayor are doing to make sure that type of abuse isn't continuing to happen. To see a police officer take home $400,000 in the span of 1 year in the middle of a pandemic, when so many people are either out of work or struggling to pay their bills, when taxes are going up for community members, is an atrocity that I can't even put adequate words to. A lot of people in township are frustrated by this news, and we are looking for answers, and we're hoping that the township has done the work or will continue to do the work to make sure that this type of abuse can no longer happen in this town, because we just pay too much in taxes to see somebody abuse a system like this.
Okay, thank you. So I've had several discussions about this with Mr. Bornhofer, and he has the facts at his fingertips. So I think it'd be best.
Sure, Mr. Mayor. Mr. White, just to address some of your concerns, while this particular sergeant did earn an exceptionally high salary for the year 2020, it had absolutely nothing to do with union leave. In fact, that particular sergeant, who was president of the Supervisory Officers Association, was granted, in accordance with their bargaining unit agreement, their contract, was granted 3 days of union leave for the entire year 2020. Most of his earnings were related to overtime that he worked due to shift shortages for supervisors in the patrol division, due to the fact that over the course of the end of 2019 and all of 2020, there were vacancies up to a total of 8 sergeants in the police department who had retired, and those vacancies had to be filled on a daily basis. So the sergeant worked every hour. There was no double dipping. He was able to work those hours on his days off, and he accumulated a significant amount of overtime over the course of the year due to shift shortages within the police department that had to be filled. The total amount that he earned also included an amount of compensatory time that he had earned over the course of of time while working that federal law requires the township to pay for upon retirement, and his contractual the township's contractual obligation to pay for a certain amount of accrued time that he had earned during the course of his career for sick time and vacation time. All of those things total whatever the total was. However, the article that you're referencing has its number of inaccuracies. There was an issue with union leave in a previous administration of the police department. That administration is no longer in place. New leadership has been put in place by this council to lead the police department, and all of the excesses have been eliminated. And the only leave that has been granted to anyone has been in accordance with state statute or in accordance with their collective bargaining agreements. While I can understand the kind of shock at seeing a large number that is associated with this particular sergeant's retirement, the reality is that while he earned a significant amount of money in overtime over the course of the last year, due to shortages within the police department and retirements and our the need to have people in those positions to supervise the officers working, someone was going to earn that overtime, and in his position as the senior sergeant, he was afforded first opportunity to take that overtime. And he's now retired, and just about a month ago now, 8 officers were promoted to the rank of sergeant, which will eliminate that overtime going forward. And we continue to hire officers to fill the vacancies to eliminate that overtime as well.
And the question that I asked Mr. Bornhofer was, does this affect his pension?
So the answer is that the state of New Jersey pension systems, all of the state of New Jersey's pension systems, are based on base salaries, not on total earnings for any period of time. So his base salary would be what his pension is based on, not his additional earnings in overtime and outside work.
And his base salary was 131, I think.
Whatever, about that sounds about right for a sergeant.
Yeah, which is a lot of money, 131,000. But that's what police officers make in New Jersey. Okay. So do we have a motion to close public session again?
Mr. Mayor, there's a message in the chat. Are you looking at that, or would you like a motion?
I didn't see that message. Oh, is it possible? No, I'm sorry, Mr. White, your time is up. No follow-up. You can call me and I can talk to you privately, or if I can't answer it, Mr. Warnock will be able to answer it.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, in that case, then motion to close the public session.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor of closing public session, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried.
Mayor, if I could just interrupt for 1 second. There was a problem with the link that's on the website that has been corrected. People should now be able to close their browser or do a refresh, and the new link will appear, and anybody trying to get on through the computer should be able to do so.
All right, we will take, we're gonna wait a minute. We're gonna take a 1-minute break to allow people to do that. Let me make sure, I'll take that time to tell Mr. Bowman, who's been texting me.
Yes, Mr. Jordan was messaging me also, so that explained why he was getting the panelist. Thank you, Mr. McQueen, for fixing that.
And I'll tell Mr. Danielson to try again. And if Mr. Danielson comes on, Mr. Bowman says it still doesn't work. If Mr. Danielson comes on, I will give him the opportunity to speak.
We're still testing it right now, Mr. Mayor, but we're working on it.
All right, I'll give it another minute. But we're not required to broadcast. We, in openness, like to. Although, wait, this is a virtual meeting.
We'll have it corrected in 1 second.
Okay. I don't even have an attorney I can ask. So we'll wait.
Perhaps in future reorganizations, we should have that process done first. Then we would have an attorney to consult.
If only you could be on now.
Well, I believe there was a request to have him off.
I think we're all praying that this is the last virtual reorg, in all honesty.
One would hope so.
That's
Mr. Mayor, the link has been fixed, and now if they do a refresh, they should be able to get in.
okay. The link is fixed. Please do a refresh. To 7:27. And wait till 7:28, and we will go again. Mr. McQueen, have we seen anyone pop up?
I am looking now. I still have a lot of callers on here at this point. We did test it on the back end and everything did work.
Mr. Bowman tells me no.
Mr. Bowman's still saying it doesn't work. Yeah, they're going to have to close their browser because it's probably cached within their browser. So they have to close, go back to the township website, and then be able to click on the link.
I have a message from one person saying it works now.
I'm seeing people pop in now, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Danielson is in.
Okay, 30 more seconds. So if Mr. Danielson is in, can you promote Mr. Danielson?
Yes. He has been promoted to a panelist.
Mr. Danielson, can you hear us?
He's muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, Mayor, council members.
Happy New Year.
It was interesting getting on the meeting, but I'm happy to be here. Is this my opportunity to say a few words?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Well, I want to wish everyone a happy New Year, members of council, Franklin staff. This was certainly an interesting year for this township, the state, country, the whole world. You know, I won't look on this this year as necessarily a bad year, but it certainly was difficult for a lot of us. You know, you don't know what type of soldier you're going to be until you meet the battle. And this year was certainly a battle. And Franklin has shown itself to be a superior community compared to any. We're not necessarily in a rural area. We're not a big city, but we're big, we're diverse, and our people are vast in their backgrounds and in their needs. Franklin, in my opinion, I was happy to have the opinion that Franklin was superior in so many levels. we immediately jumped on board with getting involved with helping our residents as they were being negatively affected by the COVID-19 virus. We established unprecedented, unequaled amount of COVID testing. Municipalities weren't doing that anywhere in our state. And Franklin tested tens of thousands of people for free and conveniently and safely. We didn't stop there. We collected and received more donations for our food bank than ever anticipated. We got donations from the state, from individual donors, from members of the council, everyone. We helped our residents out with rent, with clothing. We performed clothing collections and gave that out. And the state was not absent of that help. The state was very dynamic, very flexible, and very quick to act. Though some of the rules and restrictions were not necessarily convenient, but they were based upon survival. And this is the game for 2020, survival. The other name of this game in the year 2020 is discipline. I found that discipline is staying away from people, wearing your mask, washing your hands, not going places that you don't have to go, adds to your survival, your health, and your benefit. I mean, as you know, I didn't make it secret. I lowered my discipline one time and I got COVID. And I'm going to tell people who did not get COVID, it's real, it's painful, and you're playing with your life if you put yourself at risk of getting it. But we didn't stop there. This year, as your legislator, I made sure Franklin Township got extra money from the state budget directly to Franklin Township for the benefit of our taxpayers. In this year's budget, Franklin got an extra unanticipated $500,000. That's following the year before that I made sure Franklin got $1.2 million for a very specific project. And that all follows the extra educational money that's coming specifically to Franklin Township, to the Board of Ed. It's my honor being the legislator from Franklin Township, a town that I was born in with 8 other siblings, and I intend to spend the rest of my life here in this town. I have to give a shout out to the governor of the state of New Jersey, Governor Murphy, and his wife. I've never seen such a leader so transparent, tireless, communicating as much as he has done. He, with his entree of executive orders that did everything from helping people with their rent, legal matters, law, industry, businesses. It was synergistic for survival of our state. And I was very pleased. I'm usually very critical of leadership. I was very, very pleased with the governor and all the governor's staff and family on what they did for Franklin Township and the state of New Jersey. That being said, Mayor, we're not out of this battle. We all have to be disciplined soldiers. I'm looking forward to myself and my family to getting the vaccine as soon as possible. Now, my children will not be getting it as soon as me, probably. I emotionally stumbled with that fact. And I've decided after consultation with you, Mayor, that it's best for my children that I get it as soon as possible. It's best for my children to get their vaccine as soon as possible. We as a community have to do everything together to make the community safe. And I feel that making myself healthier, that the vaccine does, will not overburden the medical system. We all do that. As you know, we establish a herd immunity, a level of herd health, and thus we will all survive. Lastly, Mayor, sorry if I'm going on, If I could be of any help to you or the council or your staff, my staff is at your service, and I'm always at your service. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Assemblyman. Mr. McQueen, I noticed that Commissioner Director Robinson is on, if you can promote her. And you can demote Assemblyman Danielson. That felt good to say.
It's only a matter of time.
Okay, and then, Mr. Mayor, you want, I'm sorry, who?
Chanel Robinson.
Okay,
The
Chanel Robinson is now a panelist.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
Commissioner Director.
Happy New Year. I just want to wish everyone a well 2021, WON. Certainly 2020, we worked tirelessly and have been in contact with your council, mayor, and Mr. Vornlocker, as well as Assemblyman Danielson's office, to making sure that we brought you the services that you needed. Excuse me, my grandson is in the background. And as we move through 2021 and as we go beyond COVID, we will continue to serve the community and meet them at their needs and what they need in the best of times and in the worst of times. And so it's an honor and a privilege to continue to serve with this administration and as we move forward together. So I just ask for your patience as we move through vaccinating our residents. Certainly, our hands are tied based on what we receive as far as shipments of vaccine, but certainly any and everyone who wants to be vaccinated will get vaccinated. Again, we ask for your patience, and we're doing all that we can to make sure that we bring it to you. So more to come as we move through groups 1A, 1B, 1C, so forth and so on. But we are prepared to take the show on the road to make sure that all who want to be vaccinated will be vaccinated. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you. Next item is appointment of the deputy mayor. Do I have a nomination for deputy mayor?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'm nominating Jim Vasanella for the position of our next deputy mayor.
We have a nomination for Mr. Vasanella. Nominations do not have to be seconded. Are there any other nominations for the position of deputy mayor? Hearing none, we can do this by acclamation. All in favor of Councilman Vasanella to be deputy mayor Vasanella, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. It is carried. Congratulations, Deputy Mayor Vasanella. Next item is oath of office.
Thank you.
Ready for me to administer the oath?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
I, James Vasanella,
I, James Vasanella,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States
the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the government established
in the United States
and
in this state
in the state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform
impartially and justly perform
all the duties of Deputy Mayor
all the duties of Deputy Mayor
of the Township of Franklin
of the Township of Franklin
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Deputy Mayor. Your remarks?
Thank you, Mayor.
Congratulations, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, former Deputy Mayor Charles Onajaka,
Thank
for
you.
your service.
Thank you.
Do you have remarks, Deputy Mayor?
I do have some short remarks, if you afford me the opportunity. I'm assuming you can hear me well, Mayor?
Yes.
Okay. I thank my council colleagues and I'm honored to serve as Deputy Mayor for 2021. 2020 brought many new challenges that most of us never thought we as a community or we as a governing body would ever have been confronted with. There was more stress, loss, pain, and fear of the unknown than most of us had ever experienced before and hopefully will never experience again. COVID is still a serious threat and an ongoing battle. However, we persevered together as a governing body, and more importantly, we persevered together as a community. We have not allowed COVID to drain our spirit or get the better of us in 2020, and we will not allow it to in 2021. I, as I know many of you are, am proud and grateful beyond words for how our first responders, healthcare workers, essential employees in and out of government, and the countless volunteers have helped those most in need during this horrific time. Often they would put themselves in danger without hesitation to help a neighbor or a total stranger. I am so proud to call Franklin my hometown, and I look forward to serving as Deputy Mayor. I will try to the best of my ability to play a productive and positive role in helping make 2021 a great year for a truly great community, our hometown, Franklin Township. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. The next item, we're on 8A, nominations for Township Attorney, one-year term ending December 31st. Do we have a nomination for Township Attorney?
Yes, Mayor. I nominate Louis N. Raynone, Esquire, for Township Attorney.
Do we have any other nominations for Township Attorney? Hearing none, we can do it by acclamation. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, say nay. It is carried. Mr. McQueen, if you could promote Mr. Renaud.
He has been promoted, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Your camera's not on, Mr. Renaud. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, now that Mr. Renone has joined, is there anything that we have to clean up that we may have done incorrectly without the attorney present?
I was going to ask him for his acceptance speech. He could list all the mistakes the mayor has made.
No, Mr. Mayor, he's not the attorney until he takes the oath, so.
So I can change my mind?
The vote is over. Ms. McCarthy.
Okay. I, Louis N. Renaud,
I, Louis N. Raynone,
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
and
to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of Township Attorney
all the duties of Township Attorney
of the Township of Franklin
of the Township of Franklin
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
And the answer to the question is, I don't think that there's anything that you have to clear up. The DCA regulations just require people to be able to access, not necessarily see. And I know that there were people who were calling in, so obviously the public had the ability to access. It's the nature of what's happening with these. WebEx and Zoom meetings.
Okay, good. We are now on to 8B, nominations for Tax Appeal Council, one-year term ending December 31st, 2021. We have a nomination.
Mr. Mayor, I nominate Gregory Pasquale of Shane and Schaefer.
Are there any other nominations for this position? Hearing none, we can vote by acclamation. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, say nay. It is passed. He's not here, so we can move on. Item C, nominations for bond counsel, one-year term ending December 31st, 2021. Nomination.
Mr. Mayor, I nominate Everett Johnson from the attorney's office, Willis firm, the law firm.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for the position? Hearing none. All in favor of Mr. Mr. Johnson, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. It is carried. Congratulations, Mr. Johnson. D, nominations for Township Auditor, one-year term ending December 31st, 2021. We have a nomination.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I nominate Scott Cleland of West and Company as the Township Auditor.
Are there any other nominations for this position? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Congratulations, Mr. Cleveland. E, nominations for Township Engineer, one-year term ending December 31st, 2021. I nominate Robert Russo of CME Associates. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none. All in favor of Mr. Russo, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Congratulations, Mr. Russo. Nomination for Township Prosecutor, one-year term ending December 31st, 2021.
Mr. Mayor, I nominate Norman W. Albert, Esquire.
Any other nominations for this position? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. Congratulations, Mr. Alpert. G, nominations for Associate Township Prosecutor, one-year term ending December 31st, 2021.
Mr. Mayor, I nominate Mohammed S. Jallo, Esquire.
Jallo. Any other nominations? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. Congratulations, Mr. Jallo. Nominations for alternate township prosecutor, one-year term ending December 31st, 2021. Do we have any nominations?
Mayor, I nominate Shirok Mita.
Any other nominations for this position? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Congratulations, Mr. Mita. Nominations for Public Defender, one-year term ending December 31st, 2021.
Mr. Mayor, I nominate Dennis Orsiello for the position of Public Defender.
Any other nominations? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Congratulations, Mr. Orsiello. So that's it for the professional positions. Item number 9, I understand we can do these together. Resolution 21-1, appointment of 2021 standing committees. B, resolution 21-2, appointment of 2021 council liaison and representatives to various boards, committees, and commissions. Item C, resolution 21-3, 2021, reappointment to members of various boards and committees. These are the civilian committees. And then D is resolution 21-4, 2021, appointments to members. These are new appointments to members to various boards, committees, and commissions. Do I have a motion on the resolutions?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? I'm sorry, roll call.
Councilman Embarrasson,
Yes.
Councilman Chase,
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois,
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri,
Yes.
Mayor Kramer,
Yes.
Councilman Oni Chaka,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vasanella,
Yes.
Oh, I was waiting to hear Mr. Wright's name, but he's not. So item number 10, the 2020 mayoral appointments. So the first is appointment for mayor's designated class 1 member of the planning board for a 1-year term ending December 31st, 2021. I would like to reappoint Mayor Rafiq. Appointment of the mayor's designated trustee for the library board of trustees for a 1-year term ending December 31st. So this is the 1-year term. Tiana Gresham, and go Tiana. She's about to have a baby. Congratulations. And then for the 5-year library term, Agnes Kulabana. I knew I was going to mess up her name. For the 5-year term. Anne Marie spent hours trying to teach me how to say her name, and I messed it up. So we're now on to council committee reports and comments. I will do it in my screen order. Councilwoman Pruitt.
Thank you. I will keep my comments brief. So obviously, Happy New Year to everyone. We are in 2021, so hopefully things will be improving. Just a reminder, obviously, COVID-19 is still very much in play. I'm sure the mayor will talk more about that and more about what we can be doing. So I won't really touch too much on that, but just remember all the people that we've lost and keep yourself safe. I did want to briefly touch on, I guess, what the township manager spoke about, as well as Mayor Kramer, about that article. I think that article didn't necessarily do justice to the work that our police director has been doing. And I do want to highlight her work in addressing some of the issues and deficiencies that may have existed. And she is doing a really good job with what she was presented with, I think. And I defer anything that I'm saying wrong to the township manager to correct. But, you know, where we were with that department in 2019 and where we are right now, January 2021, we have made significant progress addressing some of the issues that were going on. We've diversified hiring, and we're making the department something that people can be proud of. And while it can be disappointing to the public to see articles like that, I can assure you that everyone on this screen takes it very seriously and are committed to you as a community, and as well as the safety and well-being of our community, and having a above board force that does an amazing job serving its residents. So I did want to just highlight that and highlight, the fact that we have a police director that is, if you want to say that. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Pruitt. Councilwoman Committee Francois.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 2020 was a hard year for all of us, but I certainly feel that the township and the residents of the township and the businesses in the township, we've been able to survive a lot better than other areas of the country. And I'm thankful for the leadership that we have on the council and our staff, our township staff, and all our employees. But I'd like to look forward to the new year, and I'd like to wish everybody a happy new year. And I hope 2021 brings you reasons to smile, brings you more love, happiness. All your sorrows are going to be washed away, that you can stay healthy and happy, and that hopefully that the Lord will shower you with blessings as we go through 2021. So I'm looking forward to 2021. I'm being very optimistic, and stay safe and well, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Francois. Councilman Ram Ambassador.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I want to wish everybody a very happy and healthy new year. I think the virus is almost out the door. Let's all wait for the vaccine, and I encourage everyone to take the vaccine as soon as you can get it. Hopefully 2021 and beyond would be much better for all of us. I just have a couple of things that I want to note. I mentioned in this early December meeting about a huge donation that we were working on, and that was announced on December 13th. That's the day one of the Amazon Fulfillment Center reopening. And they were generous enough to ask us what we would recommend in terms of a donation to a community organization. And I think we recommended the Franklin Food Bank, and they surprised us with a $40,000 donation to the food bank. I think that's a sizable donation, and I think it came in very, very handy for our food bank to serve thousands of families that they are obligated to serve at this time. So thank you to Amazon. And also they opened up the fulfillment center, along with it more than 2,000 jobs. We are hoping that ongoing recruitment is benefiting many of our township residents on a full-time basis job with $15.75 an hour salary plus full benefits. I think that's a great start for some of the people in our town. So that's a great news I wanted to share with everybody. I think it was well covered with the news releases in the paper and so forth. And then I have a announcement, more or less. The incoming Biden administration, the Presidential Inaugural Committee, has announced that they are going to light up the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. on January 19th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in memory of the people that have lost their lives due to COVID. And they are asking all the cities and towns in the country to join them in lighting our buildings and lighting candles, ringing the bells of churches in the commemorative event on January 19th at 5:30 p.m. So I ask all of us to participate in remembrance of the COVID victims on that day. Other than that, Mayor, our HRC meeting is coming up on the 27th. That's about all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Ted Chase.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I should apologize for not being there to deliver the invocation. I guess maybe my watch was 2 minutes slow and I got on just in time for the amen. In preparing and soliciting interested citizens for township committees, I've heard that a number of people were interested in the Clean Communities Committee, which I asked the manager about, and he said, well, this seems to be something perhaps required by the state if we take Clean Communities money from the state, and it really doesn't do anything. But perhaps we should think about forming a sort of citizen adjunct to the Clean Communities Committee of people who are interested in cleaning up their neighborhoods. Coincidentally, at the same time, I had a message from a Kingston resident who organizes a cleanup along Kingston Rocky Hill Road every spring and feels it needs it much more often. The Environmental Commission, of course, runs a cleanup around a township stream every spring. But I think there may be a need in more parts of the township that could be carried out. So I'm just throwing this out as an idea to the council for further discussion later. I think that's the main thing that I have to bring up. I wish everyone a happier new year and a healthy new year, most of all, and early vaccination. I hope that my age will qualify me to get a fairly early vaccination myself. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chase. Councilman Galtieri.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to say Happy New Year to our residents, and hoping that this year brings a lot more happiness than we've seen in the past. But as people have mentioned, as other council members have mentioned, we are unfortunately still dealing with a virus that's spreading quickly. So we need to take that into account. With that being said, as a reminder, last year, late March, a group called Residents Helping Residents formed that successfully found volunteers that were able to do different food deliveries, whether it's from the grocery store or from the food bank, to help get food to those in need and unable to get out. That group is still going strong. They still continue to make deliveries, and they are still looking for volunteers. So there is registration information on, and I should remember the URL since I was the one that set it up, but I'm drawing a blank at this moment. But the information is on the Franklin Township website, and there is a Facebook group called Residents Helping Residents Franklin Township. So that information is available if you are in need of assistance or you're able to spare a few minutes a week. It's just to maybe do a food delivery run from the food bank or pick up groceries for somebody that can't get out or is at risk. It's an opportunity to help. So reach out to them. And thank you to those that have been working to keep that going over the past 9 months now and going. We did have a sewage authority meeting already this year. It was brief in order for Councilman Barrison and myself to make it on time tonight. But one of the things that was mentioned in early December is we are seeing issues in the system with infiltration of stormwater. So Mr. Ranone has drafted something for me that we'll be bringing hopefully to the council at the next council meeting of amnesty program for sump pump connections. As noted, it is illegal for sump pumps to be connected into the wastewater system. And one of our goals is to introduce an amnesty program, if approved by council, that would allow us to basically try to resolve and get some connections out, and that could help actually control the cost of treating waste in the municipality, as we won't be treating clean water in rain events. One other note then for storm drains. As a reminder, if there's a storm drain in front of your house, please try to clean them out. Take 2 minutes to go out and move any leaves or debris. As you might have noticed, that I was driving around and I was bothering the township manager on his vacation. Some drains that were on municipal streets, just because of the overwhelming storm surge and pushing of materials, get backlogged, and especially in the winter, that can create ice dams that make unsafe travel conditions. So if you have one in front of your house, if you could clean it. I know when I walk the dog through my townhouse community, I'll even take my foot and move some leaves just to get the water going. So that would help greatly and make the roads a little safer. With that, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have. Again, Happy New Year to everybody, and hopefully 2020 is much better. And Jonathan White did post for me in the chat. It's rhrfranklin.org. So thank you, Jonathan, for reminding me of the URL that I set up. Again, that's rhrfranklin.org, and that's where you can either request help or register for help, or register to help.
Great. Thank you, Councilman Oni Jacqueline.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I'm just having a little problem with my mute here. I wish everybody Happy New Year and a very fruitful New Year. I know that last year had been very, very tough on us, but finally we made it. So no doubt about it, this year will be better. And I think, Mayor, that is what I have for the night. Just to wish everybody Happy New Year and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Deputy Mayor Bassanella.
Well, thank you for being able to say the comments before. I just want to make brief mention that I want to show appreciation and thanks for the people who we've appointed thus far and that we will appoint, the civilians that we appoint to the boards, the commissions, the committees. Last year was a very rough time for them to function. Many of them have returned, some haven't. We have some people, but there's going to be a lot of work to do that couldn't be done in 2020, and hopefully soon we'll be able to do that work virtually or in person. So they are a significant part of what makes this town click and work and do well by its residents. So I just want to mention that. And seldom do I mention people, employees of our town, but I just want to make mention that there's 4 people and 3 of them are on the screen tonight. First, the one that isn't is our police director, Councilwoman Pruitt had mentioned. I think started just a couple of days before this, or weeks before this pandemic took hold, and has come in not only to a difficult situation without the pandemic, but to put the pandemic on top of that, and has just done phenomenal in helping bring our police department to a better place than it was before. And many of us witnessed a big part of that, which was the promotions that took place here recently. And thank her for her service and in a difficult time. Our clerk, who has had to find a way to make things happen. I'm sure a way that no matter how much training, workshops, or any other exposure she's had, could not prepare, as it cannot prepare anybody what we've gone through to function in an environment like this. And reference to our IT director, who is not new to IT, but I would assume is new to operating under this kind of circumstance. And as much as we've had a few glitches, all in all, it's been phenomenal. I want to thank him. And last but not least, at least on my screens at the top of the screen, our manager, who was eats, drinks, sleeps, if he sleeps at all, Franklin Township, and has been in that office countless hours and roaming around this town countless more. And without people like that, along with all the other employees, but just to mention them tonight, without people like that, we would not have fared anywhere near as well as we have, as terrible as this pandemic, and would not be able to do as well this year without their commitment. And I want to thank all four of them specifically tonight. Thank you, Mayor Franklin.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Now for my comments. I'm going to devote it all to vaccinations. So I got vaccinated yesterday. I didn't get vaccinated because I'm mayor. I got vaccinated because I'm a doctor who works in a hospital. I did it to help protect my patients and my wife. I did it to demonstrate that I think it's safe. But of course, I did it for myself too. I got it because I believe the vaccines have undergone the appropriate scrutiny and are safe. By safe, I mean that over now with 4 million Americans having received the vaccination, and we know the results of them, the odds of being harmed by the vaccination are far less than being harmed by COVID. I got the Moderna vaccine. I could barely feel the shot. Afterwards, I had a mild soreness at the injection site for about 2 hours, and it came back today for about half the day. I guess it's there. It would be something I wouldn't even notice if I wasn't paying attention to it. If you have a history of severe allergic reactions to vaccinations, you need to talk to your doctor before you receive the vaccine. And if you can't get one of these two vaccines, other vaccines are coming out that are of different modalities, so you very well may qualify or not qualify, but be able to get those vaccines. Be careful if you're getting some other vaccine, like the shingles vaccine, getting 2 vaccines around the same time. You need to consult your doctor about that. The common side effects of the vaccine are pain and swelling at the injection site and throughout the rest of your body, fever, chills, tiredness, and headache. I've had none of that, although the public session today gave me a bit of a headache. Most important, though, and I don't know if you have a graphic, Mr. Manager, there's a way to sign up for the vaccine. It's at COVID. Well, it's our spotlighted, one of our spotlighted items on the page, and that will bring you to this page and get you to the COVID-19 site. Basically, if you just go to covid19.nj.gov, you can sign up for the vaccine. And I believe, and I don't know this, but I think the more people from Franklin that sign up, the more likely we're to get more vaccine. They don't see an interest here, and they're not likely to get it. I don't know that, but I can't imagine that it won't weigh into their decision making. So we need to get the word out on this. The managers assured me we're sending out nixtos. I hope the Franklin Reporter and the Tapped Into carry it frequently, putting big bright letters. We need, and I personally think the manager, if he sees an opportunity to get the word out and it costs money, I would say he should do it. This is vital. I think this is how we're going to be able to help roll out the vaccine. When you go to the site, we're going to ask you a bunch of questions and to figure out which category you're in. It's not going to tell you the category, and you're not going to get an appointment. People ask me when they're going to get vaccinated. We have no schedule for the vaccine for when we're going to receive it, and we don't know how many people want to be vaccinated. So without knowing the supply, without knowing the demand, there's no way to calculate exactly when you're going to get the vaccine. Assemblyman Danielson and I lobbied to get a vaccination site in Franklin, and we have promised we will get one here. There's also the vaccination site at the ShopRites in Burnsville and Hillsborough are going to have vaccination sites. The county has received 500 doses, and they will be distributed to first responders this week. So that's all that we've gotten so far. There's some misconceptions about the vaccine. Let me straighten those out. It is impossible to get COVID-19 from either of the two vaccines that are out, or from the AstraZeneca vaccine, which I anticipate will be out soon. They are not. The traditional way of getting vaccinated is to give you a little bit of the disease so your body has the opportunity to build up its immune system before the disease can build up. That is not the method that is being used here. And so it is impossible to get COVID from the vaccine. Now, the person giving you the vaccine, you could catch it from them, or you could catch it on your, way walking down the hallway to get it. But from the vaccine itself, it is impossible to get COVID from that. These trials, everyone thinks that they're rushed. The actual trials, the phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 were done in the accordance that normally things are done. So they did get the red tape out of the way. They put them first in line, etc. But these have been well studied, and I had absolutely no qualms about getting that needle stuck in my arm. I was overjoyed that I had that. Once you get vaccinated, you still need to wear a mask because, first of all, it's not 100% effective, and second of all, we don't know that if you do get infected from it, whether you can pass on the virus to others. So I've only gotten the first dose. I'll be getting the second dose in February. You will see me wearing a mask from now until February, and you will see me wearing a mask after February. You will see me taking all the precautions I've been taking to date. Until things lighten up in the infection rates locally, I'm still going to be taking those precautions. There's still things we don't know, but I do implore people to get vaccinated and help climb our way out of it. I will disagree with one councilman tonight. We're not nearly done with this. We've got variants out there that are highly infectious. We've got some dark times ahead, but we do have that light at the end of the tunnel. We have 1 or 2 vaccines that are out, likely a third one soon, and others in the pipeline. You need to stay alive to get vaccinated. So please be careful. As Assemblyman Danielson said, we let his guard down once. That's all it takes. We had 32 new cases today and 3 deaths today. So we're not through it, but we certainly can get through it if we're diligent. That's it for my comments. This is a special evening. Township Attorney, do you have any comments? You're muted, but your short response made me think you're saying that.
I have no comments, Mayor, and that's why I was muted.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, Deputy Mayor Vasanella, thank you for those very kind words on behalf of the staff members, all of the staff that you thanked. I thank you for your recognition of the hard work that they do. I do appreciate it. I wish everyone a happy new year. Also, wish a Merry Christmas to all of those Eastern Orthodox members who will be celebrating Christmas on Thursday, January 7th. They follow the Julian calendar. So St. Andrew's Ukrainian Orthodox Church in particular here in Franklin Township on Easton Avenue will be celebrating Christmas on Thursday. So I wish them a Merry Christmas. I don't know that there's a whole lot to report at this particular point that hasn't been covered already. I echo the mayor's words on the vaccinations that are hopefully soon to come to Franklin Township. A location has been identified as the Quailbrook Golf Course Clubhouse for the Somerset County location for vaccinations here in Franklin Township. Once we reach that point where they branch out to the various parts of the county, that is where vaccinations will take place here in Franklin Township. And obviously at this early onset, we're at level 1A, which is healthcare workers and EMS. So that's the first group to be vaccinated. So hopefully in the very near future, if the state can provide us with vaccinations here in Somerset County to a number that allows for distribution throughout the county, that will happen here in Franklin at Quailbrook Golf Course on New Brunswick Road. I'm sorry that I didn't have an opportunity to thank Assemblyman Danielson and County Commissioner Director Chanel Robinson. They're no longer here logged into the meeting. Both of them were instrumental in lobbying the state of New Jersey and the legislature. For those of you who don't know, counties in Somerset County that have over 500,000 in population received direct funding from the federal government through the CARES Act. Here in Somerset County, we don't have quite 500,000 people, so Somerset County did not receive any direct CARES Act funding. However, through the efforts of Assemblyman Danielson and Commissioner Robinson and others, the counties that did not qualify for federal CARES Act direct funding were provided with CARES Act funding as a pass-through from the state of New Jersey. Franklin Township was eligible through that funding for about $890,000 in funding to offset the costs associated with local government during this pandemic. I bring good news here. We had a wire transfer to our account of the full $890,000 on December 31st. So we have qualified and received all of the funding that we were eligible for through the CARES Act provided by the state of New Jersey. And again, I thank Assemblyman Danielson and Commissioner Robinson for the work they did to get it recognized and get us recognized and Somerset County recognized. So I think that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Well, thank you. I notice in the audience is our new county surrogate, Tina Jallo, our own prosecutor. Mr. McQueen, could you promote her, please?
Yes, sir. And Ms. Jallo has been unmuted and she is now a panelist.
Surrogate Jallo, would you like to say a word or two? If you're talking, we can't hear you. Okay. Send me a chat if you come on later. You can demote her now. And we are on to, let me find our place. We are on to approval of the minutes. There are no council discussion items. We are on to approval of minutes. The following minutes are presented to Township Council for approval. Township Council work session regular meeting December 8th, 2020 at 7 p.m. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any corrections, comments, discussion? Hearing and seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Barson,
Yes.
Councilman Chase,
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois,
Abstain.
Councilman Galtieri,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Councilman Onijaka,
Yes.
Foot,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vasanella.
Yes.
Item number 16, oh wait, no, number 15, approvals of the warrants. Warrants in the amount of $8,068,743.76 on December 31st, 2020 are presented to Township Council for payment. We have a motion.
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Barson,
Yes.
Councilman Chase,
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois,
Yes.
Galtieri,
Yes.
Kramer, Mayor Kramer?
Oh, I'm sorry, I coughed. I didn't hear you. Yes.
And yes,
Councilman Chaka?
yes,
Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vasanella?
Yes.
I was noting that Ms. Jallo is unmuted. Okay. So we have no public hearings for second reading and no ordinance introductions on first reading. We're on to the consent agenda. Items A through AL is listed in the consent agenda portion of this meeting and presented to Township Council for adoption. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Anyone like to pull an item or ask a question about the item?
Mayor, I would ask that we vote on resolution AI separately.
AI
Yes,
21-39.
correct.
Okay, so we were going to pull that. Any council member can do that. We're going to vote on that separately. So, any other comments? So we are going to do roll call on items A through AL, skipping AI. Madam Clerk.
Councilman Parson?
Yes.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Jaka?
yes,
Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vasanella?
Yes.
So resolution 21-39 is support of Dimensions Renewable Energy Community Solar Projects. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Madam Clerk.
Councilman Parson?
Yes.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Jaka?
yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt?
I have to abstain from it, unfortunately, due to my position as the Deputy Director in the Office of Clean Energy.
Deputy Mayor Vasanella?
Yes.
Okay, that concludes the consent agenda. There are no resolutions to be voted on separately. No old business, no executive session. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. We are adjourned. Be well, Franklin.
Thank you.